What do you make of it? Just final thoughts on it leaving us now.
I think just the most important thing about that Jobless has that so many shows don't have is that pacing, man. It's just so good.
Yeah,
it's just so good.
So good.
They somehow make the episode so dense while yet still so digestible. You know, like how is this possible? How is this so nutritious while still so delicious and light? And you know, I'm not feeling like greasy, junk food after this. You know.
Hey guys, this is a clip from our podcast. We're going to leave it linked above, so check out the full show, and don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Let's move on here to, I can't believe I'm saying it, the final episode of Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation, episode 12. 23 in total, I believe, right?
Yeah, because this one was 12, the previous one was 11.
So that's it for a while. That's Mushoku Tensei, man. What did you make of this week's episode? A little bit of a slower episode, but I thought it was perfect to send off this first season of Mushoku Tensei. I thought it was a fantastic ending, but hey, that's no fucking surprise. I always sing the praise of this show. So what'd you make of it, Jerms?
Oh, I absolutely loved what they did here, because like in the manga, it kind of just like jumped to the next arc in kind of a way. So I was like, okay, maybe we'll get a little bit of like the start of there, or like maybe like a cliffhanger or like where the next arc starts off or something like that. But no, this is way better. This is way better than that. This is way better.
So let me ask: is this I don't want to say like anime original content, but is this kind of bridging the gap between arcs, whereas in the manga it just cuts straight away to the next arc?
Yeah, basically, to me, from what I remember, it's like it kind of just like he was kind of depressed, and then bam, it went to the next arc, right into it.
Well, if that's the case, then I definitely agree with you. I like this more. I like it sort of, and
concluding a lot of things as well, and like not concluding, but like bringing lots of together.
It doesn't conclude, but it wraps around, because you see all the people that Dead End has interacted with.
Actually, seeing them, the whole surprising. I was so surprised. Yeah. I'm like, then like for a second I'm like, who? And then I just remember like, oh, it's those people that he helps out with, and like, oh, that's how they're doing.
Exactly.
Literally everyone like we know.
The cat girls. Yeah, like the cat girls. The guy, the dude obsessed with the figures. The guy who's calling him boss, like it sort of encapsulates the first season really well. And what I was gonna say, like Rudy, I love when this show. So like even if this is anime original content, I loved what they did here. I love that I love the connection with this isekai back to the previous world.
That's so important.
And that's what it did this episode. It showed, like I said, it feels like a real isekai. It's not just like, okay, this protagonist is just in another world.
That's it.
Get used to it.
That's
you
it.
know?
No real world. What's the real world again? I don't know. I'm in this new world here.
Yeah, it has no bearing on the actual narrative. In Mushoku Tensei, it does. And you get to see him sort of relapse back to a place that he felt being bullied. And I don't know if this is, because I actually read this in another manga one time, and I was disgusted by it. I don't know if this is a Japanese thing or not. I mean, I'm sure it's not super common, but maybe it happens more over there. But this whole idea of being stripped naked and people watching you and taking pictures of you, I mean, that's just like,
that's next level bullying.
That's so next. Like, I've never heard of that or seen that, or I didn't even know that was a thing until I read this manga as a kid. I picked it up, read that, and I was like seriously scarred for life. I don't remember what the name of it was, but I'm sure I could find it if I looked hard enough. And I always thought to myself, I don't ever want to read or watch something with that. That's just like a little too intense. Here we have Mushoku Tensei. It's a little intense, it kind of brings me back to that. But I'm fine with it because it's such a good story, and it actually serves the story. Yeah, like the manga I read, it was just to make a character sympathetic, and I'm like, this was overboard. Here, it hurts to see, but it really fits.
You feel it.
It really helps put
the
pieces together for Rudy's character, and I think incorporating, kind of showing him moping around and showing him moping around
days
in
on
previous
end.
life. Such a great connection, dude. Such a great connection. And to see him leave in, I don't remember if it was the final frame or one of the final frames, Rudy gets up from his bed in this world, walks up, and then in the background is his fat former self. So he gets up and metaphorically and physically, what we're seeing on the screen is him walking away, getting up and leaving that cycle of being depressed and being in your head and, you know, moping around. So like, it's so good, dude. I don't have to say this, but
Yeah.
this is so contender for anime of the year, dude. Like this was such a great
And you got some
experience
Roxy for you.
Yes, yes. Let's talk about that. Roxy, dude. Finally, I really wanted to see this. And so she meets with the Demon Lord. Like you said, all these, it's not like an episodic series where we kind of go on quest after quest after quest and like, you know, like the main characters might get built up, but
Everyone else is like,
everyone else
oh,
during those quests, well, yeah, they get swept up, you know, in the past. And there's plenty of series like that and they're great, but this one, when you meet a new character, you'll probably see them again.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They might not be the most
and growing, or
they might
like
not
they're doing something like
something.
Cause, like, I think in Sony Isekai, it's like when side characters are not with the main protagonists, they don't, you know, they kind of go in limbo stasis. You know, they don't, nothing changes.
Yep.
But with Jobless, things are always changing in the background. People are, you know, it's like it feels a living, breathing world. You know, it's like it's wild.
And that's what I keep saying. I feel like I'm a part of this world. When they reference continents, I'm like, oh yeah, that continent. Like you're in this world, you know what I mean? And it doesn't, it gives the characters more meaning and more life to them, that they're not just, you know, there to serve the plot. They're actually you're gonna see them again, you know, they come back, they actually have importance, you know what I mean? So Roxy, you know, long story short, she gets in touch with the Demon Lord again, and I love her entrance.
Ruchika,
You
I think her
know,
name
like
is
the
something like
flashy,
that. Oh, with a K.
yeah, and they use the same animation from when she introduced herself to Rudius. So I love that. I just love consistency in shows, and so Roxy basically asks, you know, she gets a favor from the Demon Lord. She basically finds out where Rudy's mother is, where his father is, and then kind of where Rudy is too. She tells her. But one thing that I have said about Mushoku Tensei, and it's not really a downfall, it's just me being nitpicky. The show doesn't really set up a lot. Like an episode will end and it's like, okay, cool, I'm ready for next week, but I don't really know where it's going to go. This was a great season finale of setting up what's to come, because now we know what's to come. The focus is going to be on finding Rudy's mother, and we don't really see her. Even the Demon Lord couldn't really see her with her eye, like, but she knows that she's alive, and so that's the direction that the show's going to go. You know, and I want to see the big titted mom again. You know, I really liked her when she was around.
Well, and she had some nice scenes. She even had some nice scenes in here.
Yes,
it's like, wow,
yeah,
I didn't expect to see Zenith in here.
Yeah, like a flashback, and it didn't feel like a forced flashback. Like it was nice. It fit the tone of the episode. It wasn't like a retcon or something weird that they just throw in to make you feel sympathetic for her. It fit the story. You know what I mean? And it's almost like Rudy heard her speaking to him, right? Or maybe it was a dream that woke him up. I mean, just so good, dude. So good. Like I didn't really have high expectations for a season finale because the show has done so much for me already, but of course, I mean, they never let off the gas. They never let off the gas. They've already, you know, gone past the finish line, and it's like, you know, they're just doing another lap for fun. Like it's a little victory lap. Like, you know, like there's no reason to start breaking. I mean, they're just having fun at this point. You know, they're not racing against anyone. They're already in the lead. Even when it's not the most jam-packed crazy episode, it's still so good, dude. Even when they're not following the manga, as you said, it's still so good. They just every time they just continue to impress, you know. Anything that you want to talk about in particular?
Just a little bit, because well, you know, we had some comments from last week talking about some stuff. So I'm like, ooh, like the way they kind of ended, like I think they can perfectly add in like a movie or something, because like the next arc kind of like is kind of a jump, you know, spoiler I guess, but so it's like, okay,
oh, like a time skip.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, you know, but apparently there's lots, like in the light novel, there's like a whole arc that wasn't in the manga. So maybe I can see them going right into that, because they didn't go into that next arc right away. So maybe leaving it open possibly to doing that arc in some way. I don't know.
You guys know me. I'll take a movie. I'll fucking take a movie any day with this shit. It could be the most generic shonen type of movie where it's a fucking side quest that has no meaning on the
Going into a
story.
dungeon or
I'll
something.
I'll take a movie, man. I'll take anything they fucking
I don't
give
want to
me.
know what they
And
can do
I'm
with the
willing
movie budget. I don't even want to know.
I assume because we had Mushoku Tensei all of 21. I know that Studio Bind was created just for the show, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get any Mushoku Tensei in 22 and probably starts back up in 23. I'm perfectly fine with that, man. They gave me such a good product. I'm not even gonna complain. I do have a question for you. I got two questions for you.
Mhm.
Eris. So the big reveal of her leaving is that she just wants to train and get stronger for Rudy.
Mhm.
I mean, again, this is me nitpicking, but kind of underwhelming. I thought that I thought she would possibly be forced to get married to that one guy, or
Oh, yeah, I forgot you said that last week.
maybe she,
I
or
was
maybe
sitting there,
she wasn't.
I was like, oh no, he's so off the base today. But you know, you obviously didn't know.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's part of
Yeah,
the fun and speculating, right? I didn't say for sure. I
yeah.
thought that that was what was happening. I was just saying that they hinted at that, and it could have been a possibility. I didn't put the money on it though. I didn't put the money on it. But I am surprised that it wasn't that, or maybe like she fucked Rudy and she wasn't ready for sex. I thought it would be something a little more deep, but it's just like, oh, she just wants to get stronger. Okay, I
Well,
mean I guess that's like a
yeah,
typical
she's still a child as well. You
shonen-ish
know,
type of thing.
they're still both
Yeah, I
children,
get that.
but
I get that. I thought it was like her running away from something, and it's just her going to train.
because all we saw was Rudy
Again, I could
perspective.
be
So like, you know, he was so depressed from it. So like, oh, it had to been, you know, some big reason, but you know, just miscommunication. You know, she obviously wasn't the best communicating about her
No,
feelings
no,
stuff.
definitely not. It definitely looked like she dumped him from his perspective.
Mhm.
But I don't know why she can't train with him, or I just feel like it could have been done differently, but I'm fine with it. It's whatever. It's not a big I just thought it'd be a bigger reveal than what it was. I thought that Eris was really under duress or really stressed out about something, and no, she just wants to get stronger for her mans. Like, right? Is that the gist of it? She just wants to get stronger for Rudy because Rudy's always had her back and she hasn't been able to do anything for him. Is that kind of it?
Yeah, and I think it also might have been because there was like it was like a slight it's not like it's Japanese to English, so there's always gonna be like slight mistranslation slash.
Always,
So
always.
technically, like
Yeah.
the note really said it was like our relationship's like imbalanced. You know, that's what it said. Instead of incompatible, it was imbalanced.
Oh, okay. So that would make
Yeah.
sense.
So
And
yeah. So that's
if I read that last week, maybe I would have picked that up a little bit better. But I was thinking it was something else, but not a big
yeah. It's
deal.
English to
And then I
Japanese.
have a
It's always
question.
there's always even miscommunication even between. So that's how it be. That's just how it be.
Yeah. And then I had another question for you. What the fuck was that there at the end, man? I don't know what the fuck that was. They're all sitting at a table and they're talking about Rudy's skill level as a boy, and they're like, "Well, that's a tall tale. That's hard to believe." And she's like, "No, he's really important to me." I'm like, "What? Who the fuck is this character?" I have no idea who that is.
Oh.
It's probably a spoiler and you don't want to tell me, or maybe it's not a big deal and you can tell me. But I was like very I don't know if that leads into the next season, or I don't know what that was. I was intrigued when I saw that.
Well,
Is it someone I'm not remembering? Am I supposed to know who that was?
technically yes, but it's because you don't know. Like, if you just change one thing, you would be able to easily tell who it is. But
Yeah. So should I not know? Like, don't tell me
uh,
for now, and I'll figure it out next season.
yeah, you'll figure it out. But it's pretty. You find out really quick who it is, and it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. If you just think back,
Like if I re
oh, you watch.
if I rewatch it, will I just pick it up? Like, is the audience supposed to know who that is right now, or were they intentionally trying to make it a little unknown?
Well, if you just think of all the characters that you saw today, and just who was the one you didn't see, or you thought you didn't see.
Okay, then I'll have to piece.
You're missing
I'll have to
one
piece it
piece. You have that
together
one
then, I
piece of the
guess.
puzzle. You're forgetting where it goes.
Yeah, she just didn't. She just didn't look
No, not
familiar.
look.
But yeah, I don't know. I had to piece that together. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you'll just rewatch the first season, and then you'll remember.
Okay. Okay.
Something slightly
All right.
changed there. You just
Okay.
the only hint I'll give you there.
All right, so that's Mushoku Tensei, man. What a fucking ride that was. We won't give a full review of it right now, but anything you want to just say about the show that we've been watching? I mean, we can't just, it's the final episode. We can't just send it off like that, just talking about the episode. Like anything to share about the experience, or did this match your expectations? Did it exceed your expectations? What'd you make of just watching it this year? Because it kind of, I mean, we had it in the winter, we have it in the fall. We had like a little bit of break, but it's kind of taken up like our whole year. Like 2021 was like a Mushoku Tensei year. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like we got 2 cores of it this year. So, what do you make of it? Just final thoughts on it leaving us now.
I think just the most important thing about that Jobless has that so many shows don't have is that pacing, man. It's just so good.
Yeah,
It's just so
so
good.
good.
They somehow make the episode so dense while yet still so digestible. It doesn't like how's this possible? How's this so nutritious while still so delicious and light? And I'm not feeling like greasy junk food after this. It's like
They got that fake sugar in there, bro. It's perfect. Our brain thinks it's sugar, but it's not. Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah,
oh so perfect.
yeah, the
Man.
pacing is good. And the pacing is good in the manga, I assume, too, right?
Oh well, there's some little because reading manga I go so fast. You don't get to really you don't,
Yeah, I
you
guess
don't get
that's
to
I guess that's
smell the roses and stuff. Like while the anime it dictates how fast
yeah, that's
you're gonna see
true.
it, which is nice, because obviously, I wish I could just read this whole rest of the series right now, and I it wouldn't feel as good as it is, having week per week, really digesting it. You can eat food as fast as you want,
Yeah.
but did you really enjoy it?
You're not savoring the
Yeah.
taste. You gotta savor the taste. Yeah, I agree with that. That makes sense, because I guess you could just go balls to the wall and read it all quickly, but when you watch it, it forces you to watch it at a certain pace, and I think the pace has been phenomenal. Even, dude, the animation, like, it kept up, dude.
Yeah, nothing ever really ever let
I don't
down.
when? Like, was there ever a time where it's like, "Oh, that shit looks choppy?" Like, this week's episode was a little choppy. I don't, like, ever remember it like, the music was phenomenal. It just it never disappointed. That's the best way I could describe Mushoku Tensei. As someone who's not super huge into fantasy, I'm certainly not huge into isekai, and it completely won me over. So very, very sad to see Mushoku Tensei leave, but we do have a special coming up where we're going to be talking about this year's anime, and I believe Mushoku Tensei might be discussed. So
Maybe, just maybe.
keep your maybe, just maybe. We don't coordinate what we're going to be talking about, but I'm pretty sure we'll talk about it a little bit. So keep on the lookout for that. We actually have a special coming out this week. We'll talk about that at the end of the episode. All right.